Pioneers travel to Newberry, South Carolina, Eliezer Arena to take on the Newberry Wolves. Hello everyone, I'm Brian Staten, joined by Pioneer coach Devan Carter as the Tusculum Pioneers travel to the very dangerous Eliezer Arena. Second-year head coach Joanne Tincher is kind of taking over for Coach Sean Page. Still has, and to me, as I'm trying to prepare for the game, I'm realizing, well, you know, we've lost Meg Essex and we've lost Shelby Britton, so there's probably no other international flavor. Well, 4 of the 5 that started from Australia, and boy, another solid basketball team at Newberry.
Yeah, for sure. They have obviously that Australian connection going, and they've got some kids that can flat out play basketball. You look at their point guard, been playing well, had a 30-point game against Limestone. You look at McDermott being back, and just another team that's going to be bigger than you. That's going to be really solid fundamentally. And then in my mind, I still say that that's the toughest place to play in the league.
Sure.
I just think that in all my years of being in the league, I've never seen anybody go down there and shoot the lights out. It's just a tough place to play, and we knew we were going to have our work cut out for us.
For the longest time, neither team really shot the ball very well. Tusculum was under 25%. Newberry was under 20% at one point during the game. And that's where we start. We got off to the really good start, and I thought, well, here we go. Things look really positive. Right to this 5-0 start, we're up 6-0, and things seem to be going very well our way. And all of a sudden, we just kind of hit a wall, a wall that lasted a quarter, and we just couldn't get anything to go in the cylinder.
Yeah, we struggled in that second quarter in particular. Got off to a great start, which is always what you want to do at that place, and then just kind of hit a lull. Newberry does a good job with defense, and they've kind of changed how they defended in the past. They went to switching everything, and obviously we do a lot of that ourselves, and so it's not like it threw us off or anything, but I just think that we just struggled to make shots. And I think at that point too, Newberry did a great job of keeping the ball outside the paint, and we wanted to attack the paint. So hit a lull there, halftime. We chatted about it, and really it wasn't more so me, it was our kids just saying, hey guys, they're switching, and these are our looks and these are our reads right here. And obviously we go against that, like I said, most days in practice, and they did a great job of making the adjustments, and the second half was a lot better.
Pioneers, me along, also with a little bit of foul trouble, didn't really have the offensive production there in that first half. At one point, the Pioneers up 13-6, then the run went 13-0. It was 19-13, 4:52 left in the first half. Sid Wilson got going right there at the end of the first half to bring you back to a tie. We were tied at 19. Now, that's what's blowing my mind. We're tied at 19 for a team that's shooting the best they've shot probably in your tenure, and scoring the basketball at 75 points a game. And I think that was what was shocking. A lot of coaches will tell me, well, it's because, in the first half where I'm on the defensive end. I get to coach up the defensive end. No, it just didn't seem to be that way. We did seem to be a little bit lost, as if the kids were unsure as to what Newberry was doing on that end. So it was good to see Sid kind of take control there at the end of the first half.
For sure. She's a veteran. She made some tough shots there. So a couple pull-ups, and got to the hole a couple times. Instead of Sid the shooter, she was Sid the driver. Yeah. And got to the hole and finished at the rim. And we really needed those, especially at a time when your offense is just kind of bogged down. And we know that for us, we can't afford to have too many of those. But at the end of the day, I was really proud of how we bounced back. Like you said, we were averaging about 75 a game, and I felt like if we could get to 65, we were going to have a chance to win the ball game. So, with all being said, you go through a stretch where you get bogged down and you find a way out of it, and you get a tough win on the road.
Pioneers second half, a totally different team. Things went. I mean, you scored 6 points in the second quarter. Right? I mean, a totally different team in the third. You come out, you build that lead up to 14 at 35-21. They go an entire quarter without scoring a point. What were some of the keys there in that run for you?
Well, for us, it really started defensively. I think that we went through a stretch where we were just fouling for no reason. And I'll be quite honest with you, if there's anything that I took from the ball game that we needed to work on, was just our discipline with our hands. I mean, you know how the game is called nowadays. It's like tic-tac-toe. So, it's just the physicality of the game is gone now. So we got to adjust to that. We got to do a better job of that. But second half, we were just able to play in transition more. We were able to, get in the paint. And then not only get in the paint, but we were able to, once we got into the paint, pass out and step into some shots. And I think that was really big for us. And then I think the big deal is Maddie Sutton stepping up on the glass and then in the paint. Kid has improved drastically. So we were able to get some paint touches, and we were able to kind of extend that lead. And then we were able to finish some possessions. Like I said, defensively, we hadn't guarded that well in a long time. And I felt like, we were able to keep them on the outside and then finish possession with the rebound.
Newberry started the second half going 0 for their first 14, and 13 of those shots contested. They did not have an open look in that second half. It's what built the lead. But then here they come back. All of a sudden you look up, it's 44-39. We're at the under 5 period of the third quarter, and they're kind of building that back up. They kind of got Talia Roberts hits a 3. She goes on a little mini run of herself. But it was good to see Maddie Sutton, who had a career game. She really kind of righted the ship there. After they made their run, she gets a key offensive rebound and a key putback in the game.
For sure. And you got to have those effort plays. I mean, when you're on the road, you can expect adversity, and you can expect the home team to make a run. And I felt like Maddie did a great job of just giving us effort plays. And that's all we really ask of, certain kids on our team, or really everybody. We call them winning plays. And when we get in that plus minus in practice, you always get the pluses for the winning plays. And so there's no secret, if you watch us play, who gives us the most winning plays in practice. Maddie Sutton's a kid that, if her biggest asset is her energy and her motor. And it really saved us because, like you said, they're making a run, and then Maddie goes and gets a huge offensive rebound, and then she goes and gets a putback. And then not only that, she was able to draw a lot of fouls on our post players. And so you look at, how we were able to get to the line and do different things. That's huge when you're on the road.
Maddie was 5 of 8, including a 3 from the field, 8 for 8 from the free throw line, 19 points, a career best, besting her Georgia College game she had earlier this year. Then you get into the fourth quarter and you need somebody else, and you had Mia Long. She scored 13 of her 15 in the fourth quarter alone. She was able to get into the paint. She was able to finish. You were able to get into some transition. You wanted to do that in the game, and I felt like Newberry did a fantastic job organizing defensively in transition. But she was able to kind of get that going late in the contest.
Yeah, and anytime you get to the fourth quarter, you got somebody that fast able to get up and down the floor. It's huge. I think the big thing with Mia though is that obviously we set a ton of ball screens and we play off of that a lot. But she was able to be patient, and I think that when she's able to get when we set great screens, but she's able to get to the point where she can get to the middle of the big's body. I think she becomes really, really good. And I think, Mia was able to make smart decisions once she got downhill. You saw the finishes, you saw the fouls and everything else that she was able to draw. And she's so fast. She draws so much attention anyway.
Yeah.
But I just felt like her decision-making was so much better. And 13 points in the fourth quarter, I mean, that's huge. And you look at a quarter where we had 6.
Yeah.
She goes for 13, and we put up 25 in the fourth, which is what we had to do to close out the game.
It was interesting. Sid didn't miss in the game. She finished with 12 points, but it's like she didn't get good looks. I felt like they did a really good job not allowing her to get going, because if she gets going beyond three-point land, it's going to be a really good day for us. And I felt like they did a good job with her, but she was good about making smart decisions and not taking bad shots too.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that like we always want to make sure that we're taking good shots, and that's the way we define it is if the shot is heavily contested, it's a bad shot.
Yeah.
And now we're all not created equal, but it's one of those things where I thought Sid did a great job with her decision making. I thought she did a great job of not forcing anything, because we're at the point now where we have multiple players that can lead us in scoring. I mean, you look at, we've had Mia Long lead us in scoring. We've had Sydney Wilson lead us in scoring. We've had Casey Johnson lead us in scoring. We've had Maddie Sutton lead us in scoring. So, we have the ability to have multiple people score the ball. It's not just one person. And I think Sid's, really starting to understand that, hey, man, every possession is valuable. And, I think The Catawba game was a learning lesson for us, just
Sure.
because of the mere fact of we forced a couple late in that ball game when it was time to kind of finish that runoff. But great decision making, and it was very pivotal in that ball game.
You just held a league team under 30% shooting. I mean, they made 15 field goals in the game, took 55 shots. This year we focused a little bit on your offense, but your defense is still pretty good.
Yeah. It's a work in progress.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
It's I think that the big thing with this group is, I'm gonna be honest. Last year I knew no matter who we played, where we went, we were gonna guard, and that's a great feeling.
Yeah.
When getting off the bus, this team is gonna guard. Now it's just a matter of making shots. With this team, it's almost the opposite. You're gonna be able to score the basketball, but are we gonna get enough stops? And so. Obviously, after the Catawba game, you look at a game where we chart what we call kills, and that's 3 straight stops in a row. Against Catawba, we only had 4. Our stat is you get to 8 or 9, I guarantee my team they're going to win the game if they get 8 or 9. And every time we've done that this year, we've won the ball game. And against Newberry, we had 12. So, that's a string of 24 straight stops over the course or 36 stops over the course of a game. And that was big for us. The big stat for us, though, was contested, like you said.
Yeah.
We contested a lot of shots. We had a hand on every shot. We closed out with high hands. We did a decent job of keeping the ball out of the post in the paint. And then we were able to finish with the rebound. Got to go back and stat that game again, though, because I think we did a solid job of finishing possessions. And that's the big deal for us. Is this team is different than last year because last year we were just so much more athletic than everybody. This year we got to play more position basketball, and we're still learning because it's new for us.
Big game for really Maya Belton, who we didn't really talk about and focus on, and not for her scoring, but just getting balls, knocking them away. Brianna Dixon came in, gave you a big 3. I mean, there was a lot of people that came off the bench in this game that contributed. They aren't going to show up in the scores column. Casey Johnson didn't score a whole lot, but man, she was critical in making sure their 6'2s didn't get easy looks either.
Yeah, and you know what? Brianna Dixon comes off the bench. She's a starter for us, honestly. That kid, she started for us, in the preseason and early, but she brings versatility off the bench and size. And then Maya Belton had a phenomenal week of practice. And the big thing with Maya Belton is that she came off the bench and brought us energy.
Yeah.
Our press was a little stagnant and it wasn't moving the way that it should. And we got Maya on the top, and she just brought so much energy. I was really pleased with her. And I told her that might have been one of the best games she's played since she's been here. Not because of shot making, but because she played a complete game. She played the 3-4, she played on the wing, she played the 4-4 some, and she did a great job of defending all of those positions. Staying in front of the basketball, being long, and I was really pleased with what she did because that's growth for her. And so both of her parents actually went to Newberry.
Oh, yeah.
And Dad played at Newberry, and Mom went there as well. And so, it was kind of a homecoming for her. And she really, I think, helped us get that game flipped.
A Pioneer team that wins 61-47 against the Newberry Wolves. They get that win. They go to 2-1 in the league. They also get their 7th win. They move up to 4th in the D2 SIDA region poll right here before Christmas. Now they'll have a long layoff. And the Pioneers, what do they do? We'll find out. That's when we come back with more Pioneer basketball with Devan Carter after this.
Family.
Food's here!
What's it mean to you?
We got lunch.
To us, it means the people you care about, look out for, and yeah, love. Even if you'd never let them hear you say it.
Hey, you're eating hummus?
What's wrong with hummus?
Here at Ingalls, we have everything you need to gather around the table and give each other a hard time. Because that's what families do. Ingalls. All the ingredients for family.
Into Pioneer basketball with Devan Carter. The Pioneers off to a 7-2 start, 2-1 in league play after their win against Newberry this past week, where Maddie Sutton goes off for a career high 19 points. Also led the team in rebounding with 8. Now the Pioneers have a few days off. December 18th will be the next game for the Pioneers. And if you're looking at your watch right now or the calendar or your phone or something, you're realizing that's a long time off. Well, we kind of go through this all the time, to be honest with you. You kind of front load your schedule and then kind of give the kids off, for the exam time. Or maybe you just don't have somebody to play at this particular time. However it works out, this is what you've been dealt so far on your schedule. You didn't play a lot right after the Catawba game. You go a whole week, and then you play Newberry. And I thought maybe there might have been a little rust, for us in that first half against Newberry. So how do you make sure that doesn't happen against UVA Wise?
Well, like you said, it's exam week, and I think we shift our focus a little bit to recovery and then closing out the semester strong. We've got some kids who have, some of them might have 2 exams in a day, and this is a stressful time period for them. And we're gonna, obviously, I think right now as we're filming this, kids are in study hall.
Sure.
And just making sure they close out the semester strong academically, and then you shift to recovery as well. Giving the kids off today, getting a training room a lot, mandatory training room this week as well, and then. We're going to practice a little bit. In the past, we've always used this time to just work on us. And, I guess we're different than some teams. We scout our opponent, we prepare for our opponent, but we feel like, it's more about us than it is our opponent and what they do. It's about what we do and being the best versions of ourselves. So you go through, just take some things from Newberry and Catawba. Obviously after Catawba, we spent the whole week on defensively.
Yeah.
And I think that showed against Newberry. And so we have to build off of that. But then we got to make sure we don't have any more 6-point quarters. And so we got some things to do offensively. We got, some skill work and things that we can work on. And we're going to practice and get after it. It's over the holidays, and we have kids some kids from far away. And so we're going to do a little early Christmas party for the girls, and we're going to use this time to get better. And then obviously as the week draws to a close, we'll start getting ready for UVA Wise. Really good, well-coached team. They've got a point guard that Kaylin Ross that we recruited, who's playing well for them, had 25 against Catawba. We recruited her hard too. So we're going to have our work cut out for us. They got a double machine in the post and Sunita Webb. And as we close the year, it's tough. UVA Wise and Queens on the road. So we're going to have to make sure we use this time to work on us and be a better version of ourselves.
Virginia Wise, Wednesday, December 18th at Pioneer Arena. For the Pioneers, it'll be one of 2 home games, I guess, for the month of December. An exhibition game against Young Harris is December 31st. That'll be a 1 o'clock start. But as they close out their pre-Christmas schedule, a tough week because the newcomer UVA Wise, solid team. I think they're going to be. I think they're not surprising anybody. Right. They got everybody's full attention, and an improved Queens team as they fell to Lincoln Memorial this past week. I think this is going to be a team, and it's always another tough place to play when you go down there to Charlotte, to the Ravenel Curry Arena down there. So it is a good time for this team to be off, and it's a good time. 7-2. I know a lot of coaches don't like it. Hey, you know what? We're kind of rolling right now at the start of the year. I don't like to have this time off, but I think you embrace it.
Yes, because to me, the games they're not as much fun as practice to me. I enjoy practice more. I like the process of getting better, and I like trying to, I enjoy going through that process because I take this time and I reflect, things we do good, things we do bad, things we need to scrap, things we may need to just improve on, stick with, stay the course with, and so I really embrace this time period. Roland, I think that, I'm sure a lot of people want to trade places with us right now.
Yeah.
But, at the same time, I see some missed opportunities as well. I look at a couple of games that we have dropped, and you want them back just for the mere fact of, I think a lot of the onus, like I say, comes down to us and being the best versions of ourselves. So, it's a challenge for our coaching staff. We'll be meeting here all week. We'll have time to go recruit, and then we'll have time to, sit back and evaluate some position groups, how we can coach them better and be better.
He's Pioneer coach Devan Carter. Pioneers 7-2, 2-1 in league play. Played December 18th, Pioneer Arena. You can watch that through TusculumPioneers.com. Listen through Jewel95.com, also on the Pioneer webpage. For Pioneer coach Devan Carter, I'm Brian Staten and the entire staff behind the scenes here at the Pioneer Sports Network. And until next week, go Pioneers.